The first thing I did after being reborn as a giant python.
You are startled at first, then overjoyed. You never expected.
However, 3 seconds later, I completely panicked.
You immediately shout the classic 30 years on the east side of the river, 30 years on the west, quote,
That this seemingly ordinary little female snake in front of me.
Everyone else thinks the shock made you go crazy.
And their 100,000 strong naval army. And right now, this little female snake was curled up in a corner, licking the wounds left on her body by my rough actions. Her cold, snake-like eyes were filled with resentment.
If this isn't the main character, who is, however, you wait for 3 days
to actually be defiled by this filthy beast. Once I recover my cultivation base.
You're very patient.
I'll tear you to pieces, even though the little female snake didn't open her mouth. I could clearly hear the roar in her heart. My whole snake body froze on the spot. This little female snake is also a reincarnator?
Could it be the cheat was snatched away?
She's actually a heaven-defying big shot like this.
Could there be a villain who...
A chill couldn't help but run down my spine. Right now, this Empress definitely wants to swallow me alive.
To have villains who specialize in stealing other people's cheats. So you get busy, trying to look for the whereabouts of your cheat.
A cold, mechanical voice suddenly exploded in my mind.
This disappoints your father completely, thinking you went crazy after the broken engagement. He decides to give up on nurturing you.
Role requirement. Give benefits to the bound target.
Although his aptitude is slightly worse than yours.
Bound target. Sumire, former dragon Empress.
The battle for air has always been like this.
Hearing this, my heart bloomed with joy. Sure enough, the time traveler's essential golden finger may be late, but it always arrives. Immediately after.
You want to prove that even without the Su family, you can still become a regional overlord. 30 years later, you can't exactly be considered a regional overlord.
This is clearly a rare treasure. Sumire happened to meet my gaze.
It's quite a comfortable living. Thinking of Lee Qingyu, who broke the engagement, she broke through long ago.
Crawled straight toward the cave entrance. Seeing this, Sumire's heart was instantly filled with stormy waves. What does this scaly beast want to do now?
After all, you've already reached middle age. If the cheat doesn't come soon, you're really going to die. Could it be that my cheat is more children, more blessings? You ponder for a moment, and think of the woman in a mercenary group, who has always been following you. This is the young girl you met on the road, who had also left her family when you first left yours. Her name is Lee.
I heard her little thoughts loud and clear.
In the blink of an eye, another 30 years of ups and downs pass. The more children, more blessings system you waited so long for didn't arrive. But you did have a cute daughter with Liu Shu.
My first time was with her too. Besides, strictly speaking,
your daughter and son are both studying at the martial academy. In the future, they won't have to be like you, living a life of licking blood off a knife's edge in a mercenary group.
I desperately merged the memories in my mind. The most important thing right now is to quickly improve my cultivation.
That Lee Qingyu has already broken through to the Linhai realm.
And get rid of this shell.
Perhaps
my mouth was already full of prey.
And you are already old. The cultivation is only at the peak of the dueling realm. And you don't have invincible strength among your peers either. So, leading your small group,
even moving a little took great effort. Upon seeing that pile of bloody food,
Chongchuan City to settle down.
And she swallowed hard.
On the night you invite all the major factions, an uninvited guest arrives. Looking at your younger brother whose hair is as white as yours, you suddenly feel very peaceful. You have hatred.
I suffer a huge loss.
That night, your brother says a lot since you left. The first madam developed a heart disease.
Her scales standing on end.
Just a year ago, your father passed away too.
I chuckled inwardly.
Wanting to see you one last time?
But her body is very honest.
Watching your brother Suzua's departing back, you touch the corners of your eyes, wet with tears. You can never return to that other Su family. Now, this place is your home.
Fine.
But you are already old. Even Lu Shoyi has been buried by your own hands.
Then I'll settle the score with this vile beast.
On your 100th birthday, you still have no system. You know today's your birthday, but also your last day. Fortunately, your descendants and the core younger generation of the Su family have all been sent away. The old guy from the Su family next door broke through to the Lingwen realm. Changshuan City does not allow a second voice. You chose the wrong side, thinking the city lord would break through first, but he was counter-killed by Qi.
Leaving you here to wait for death on your own. Not long after, my mind sounded like setting off firecrackers.
This is Su Ba, the old ancestor of the Su family Lingwan realm. A strong man views death as going home, even if you are already old. Your time in the mercenary group wasn't for nothing.
Super all-faction.
Holding several severed heads in his hands. Seeing the faces on the heads clearly, your expression turns ugly.
There were already over a dozen practical divine abilities on it.
Ending in death anyway.
Just eating one brown bear brought me such terrifying gains. Without a second thought, I bit and dragged back another.
Fought to the death to protect them.
At this time, she was burying her head, digesting the food in her stomach. Her body was recovering at a visible rate. Seeing me throw over another prey,
Some of the younger Su generation still managed to escape.
Pleasant system.
The Su family disciples arranged to be sent away.
I grinned from ear to ear.
If they are allowed to grow up, it will be a huge trouble for our Su family. If I hadn't obtained the inheritance of a Lin High Realm expert, it might have been our Su family that was wiped out. Finally, your consciousness fades away.
Not a single one could escape my demonic claws.
You realize that after dying, you appear in a strange space. So that's how it is. That old Su family dog actually had such luck.
And her size was gradually increasing. In just a few days.
Because your cheat has arrived.
I could even faintly feel.
After running away from home, you went through hardships, built a family, and became an ancestor, spreading your branches and leaving your mark on this world. Although you died in Chongchuan City.
Because the one who truly struck gold was me.
This life of yours can be considered wonderful. Rating: White 3-star, reward, 30 fate-defying points. Please choose how to allocate your fat-defying points before entering your second life. Aptitude 0 can add points. Comprehension 0 can add points.
Then I couldn't wait.
Prompt: fate-defying points can be used immediately.
Ding. Detected emotional change in bound target Su Meyer. Intimacy +1.
You use up all 30 fate-defying points in one breath.
Hint. The higher the intimacy.
10 to comprehension, and 5 to family background. A vast white light flashes by, and you enter your next life. The city lord of Baifeng City is named Zhang Li.
Looking at the system panel again, not only was there an added intimacy column.
Thinking of the Su family being wiped out in your previous life,
Without a second thought, I directly took all the moral.
you feel that the revenge you couldn't take in your past life.
Synthesis successful. Congratulations on obtaining the spirit grade divine ability.
A maid runs over with quick, small steps. You nod your head.
My dozens of feet-long snake body began to expand rapidly.
In the spacious room, Zhang Li has already had the servants set out the food. A middle-aged man and a woman are sitting on chairs waiting. Seeing them, a smile appears on your face, and you respectfully say, "Greetings, father and mother." Wang Hongyu pulls you over and says, "Come quickly and sit down."
The sound of the impact echoed through the skies.
Zhang Li says, "Let's eat first."
Was actually smashed with a giant hole by me. At the same time, inside the karst cave,
Only one step away from the drooling realm.
had finally recovered some of her cultivation. Thus, a sneer flashed across her eyes. Damn heavens. Even if you scheme and calculate, wanting my dragon clan to be completely destroyed.
A single jeweling pill can help someone at the peak of the Kailing realm break through to the jeweling realm.
A tremendous bang suddenly echoed out.
Not only is it expensive, but most importantly, even with money you might not be able to buy it. Although a city lord and a Lingwen realm expert,
She thought her pursuers had arrived here, so her muscles instantly tensed up.
3 days later, you are already in the jeweling realm.
Who knew that upon looking up, she would see a giant silver-white python coiled on the rubble, radiating a terrifying aura all over.
Now you are 8 years earlier.
How could it be him? This is too ridiculous.
Lingyan Martial Academy is one of the top 10 martial academies in the Tianfeng Kingdom.
Was actually caused by this silver snake?
Causes quite a stir.
I clearly remember this kid was just a mortal seed.
Even in the genius-filled Lingyan Martial Academy, only a handful of people have such aptitude.
And her gaze landed on my forehead.
And choose an elder to be your teacher. The elder you choose is named Zhang Shi, an expert at the 7th level of the Lingwen realm. Compared to your father, in this life, Zhang Li, he is 4 levels higher.
No wonder he evolved so quickly, but that doesn't mean anything.
You throw a banquet to celebrate entering the inner sect. In their eyes, your life is completely like using a cheat code.
Thinking of this, Sumire felt a burst of worry.
Successfully entering the inner sect at the jeweling realm at 17, and bowing to Elder Jiang Shengyang as your master.
With her current cultivation base, it was really a bit difficult.
However, you just shake your head. How could they possibly understand how hard your journey has been, even though that was in your past life? After leaving the restaurant, you suddenly shudder as you see a familiar face with the appearance of an old acquaintance. Is this old? Do me a favor. You look seriously to the side at the intoxicated man. The man, seeing your solemn expression,
If my cultivation hadn't yet recovered,
help me investigate someone.
I'll let you be arrogant for a couple of days. Once I master the Dragon Clan's secret technique.
His family, the Li family, also has some influence in Lingyan City.
I'm really speechless. I shook my head.
Who looked like an old acquaintance is already placed before you, just as expected.
I still turned and slithered toward the depths of the dense forest. In a short while, I entered the deep forest. The spiritual energy here was ridiculously dense.
That young man suspected to be an old acquaintance,
I quickly began to absorb it frantically, just as I was absorbing vigorously.
whom you saw before you died in your first life.
I hurriedly looked up.
3 years older than you, currently at the 9th level of Kailing, and perhaps about to break through, but he will
Narrowly dodging this strike.
But can't I eradicate your clansmen step by step? First, you are full of hatred, but But the problem is, you are alive now,
with debris flying everywhere.
being held by Su Chang.
Thank goodness I slipped away fast.
Even scattering the Su family's ashes would hardly dissolve the hatred in your heart. Not to mention the Su family also has the inheritance of a Lin High Realm expert
And lunged down viciously once again. Without another word, I turned my head and ran.
is already considered an absolute powerhouse.
So fierce, as if I owed it $1 million.
Shouldn't she also be at the Lin High Realm now?
Task triggered. Gift this monster core to Sue Meyer.
No wonder she wanted to break the engagement with you back then. She indeed had the qualifications to forcefully break it off, but you still hold a grudge.
But this big bird, just from hearing its name, is clearly the nemesis of snakes.
Li Qingyu is already old, while you are in your prime. You are pondering how to completely unnoticed.
The golden winged or OC let out an angry shriek.
Killing fellow disciples has always been a severe crime in the academy. At best, it's solitary confinement.
Relying on my agile body, I dodged left and right.
Naturally, you can't kill him blatantly, but if Su Sheng, while carrying out a mission,
Just like that, our one snake, one bird chase scene played out. And finally, we arrived at the edge of the vine area.
resulting in Su Sheng being beaten to death, isn't that a very normal plot? 3 months later,
Just as the golden winged or OC's bird face was about to hit me.
the matter goes exactly as you expected. The academy hastily wraps up the case.
Because it was too fast to stop.
In this martial arts world, if an ordinary student dies, they die. Only the head of the Su family, Su Changji, is full of hatred, but he can't find any clues. The matter is eventually left unresolved. But you know this is only the beginning.
Without hesitation, I directly activated Dragon's Might.
The enemy is in the open, but you are not in a rush to take revenge. You continue to cultivate in the Lingen Academy. A year later, having just turned 18, you were called home by Zhang Li.
That is a dignified rank to monster beast. It would fail in such a miserable way.
Elder Wang looks at your striking appearance and impressive cultivation, nodding in satisfaction. Zhang's son, I have a granddaughter as beautiful as a fairy.
I opened my large mouth and aimed at its neck.
She just returned to Beifeng City today.
It couldn't even resist. Following that, I directly bit off and crushed the bird's head in one bite.
You look at your father, and Zhang Li nods at you. Thus, you understand, that girl is indeed as beautiful as a fairy.
An ancient-looking dragon scale floated in front of me.
Making Father Zhang very satisfied, which is why he called you home.
I thought about it and decided to fuse it into my 7-inch weak spot.
You both size each other up,
Afraid that one day I might accidentally get knocked out by her.
and for once, there is no broken engagement plot.
With a command,
And stick together for 3 whole days,
becoming my hardest life-saving trump card.
agreeing to meet again at the Tianfeng Kingdoms. Once in a decade younger generation tournament to meet again. You return to Lingen Academy again. Your buddy Li Ming looks at you curiously.
To settle the score with me.
Naturally, you won't tell this kid. We are indeed different now.
It's highly likely that a natural treasure is about to be born.
While you are still a single dog,
And sneaked over towards the source.
even more rigorously, since awakening your reincarnation.
A few minutes later,
And you have broken through from the 9th level of Kailing to the 6th level of This year, you are 19. Such cultivation speed is truly too fast, and even shocks the academy.
that the white mist was materialized spiritual energy. Spiritual energy liquefying. This is a setup only found in holy sect grounds.
Hoping you can, in the Tianfeng Kingdoms.
I was so excited I almost took off on the spot. However, before this excitement even passed, a terrifying aura.
And a group of geniuses nurtured by the academy, and set foot on the road to the Tianfeng royal capital. Your buddy Li Ming also tags along with you.
It was a death warning from the depths of my soul.
I suddenly feel so much pressure.
Unexpectedly, the moment I fled,
Li Ming can't help but feel lost. During these 2 years, Li Ming also successfully broke through to the Juling realm. He is currently at the 1st level of the Juling realm.
that water pillar smashed viciously into a towering tree in the distance.
But the young disciples from the academy going to participate,
I saw the towering tree instantly collapse.
without exception, are all no worse than you. The worst cultivation among them is the 5th level of the Juling realm. Geniuses in this world are already as numerous as the stars. You look up at the sky, an era will only have one moon. All other stars are destined to be overshadowed by the moon's brilliance.
I ran in one breath for who knows how far.
Could it be that you want to be the moon?
Did I collapse on the ground, gasping for air? No.
I am just the tiniest of stars, but if I hear the Tao in the morning, I can die content in the evening. If I could just see that moon, and see the true favored children of heaven in martial arts.
After adjusting my breathing, I returned to the karst cave at top speed.
Is this still the buddy he hangs out with every day? Suddenly becoming so lofty and grand.
Corpse I was carrying onto the ground,
You say seriously?
signaling to Sue Meyer to hurry up and eat it while it's fresh. She came over and carefully examined the ROC's corpse.
Li Ming nods, resolving the knot in his heart.
Even though this bird was already completely dead.
What the hell is he afraid of? Little does he know, you still have one sentence left unsaid.
This is probably a ranked monster beast, right?
and a unique one at that. If not in one lifetime, then in 2 or 3. There will be one lifetime where I will live to become the figure everyone looks up.
And hurry up and eat. She paused for a moment.
After a strenuous journey, everyone finally arrives at the Tianfeng royal capital. The academy elders had already arranged a place to stay, and you rush non-stop to see your fiancé. By the time you bring your fiancé to meet everyone from the martial academy,
Skillfully pulling out a faintly glowing monster core.
we agreed to be single together. Yet you even have a fiancé.
How a mortal snake without even a rank.
Believing that Li Ming will understand you.
And to actually give the most precious monster core and the prey entirely to her, she held the monster core in her mouth with complex eyes, hesitating to swallow it for a long time. Watching from the side, I just wanted to complain, hurry up and eat.
With a widespread reputation, she possesses a unique aura of her own and has many admirers in the Linjian sect. Coming to their door is like poking a hornet's nest, as you are surrounded by a bunch of people. Are you junior sister Wang's fiancé?
Pretended not to care and turned to walk away.
As long as you lose.
Sumair hunched her body, watching me walk away. Only then did she relax.
Angrily issues a challenge to you. You have no impression of him.
Him doing this leaves only the possibilities. Either he's afraid to eat it himself and is using me to test for poison.
Don't tell me you don't dare to have a fair and square duel between men. If I lose, I will disappear from junior sister Wang's sight forever.
After a long while, she opened her eyes.
The Lingjian sect's senior brother relentlessly pursues the matter.
Her injuries were finally completely healed.
As if this would allow him to suppress you and elevate his image in Wang Bailu's heart.
Could it be he purely just wants me to recover from my injuries? Or does he have ulterior motives?
If you want to compete, I will naturally accept, but I will not use my fiancé as a wager.
Time will reveal a monster's true heart anyway.
She is my future wife.
Just as I was complaining inwardly.
Wang Bailu's beautiful eyes also flash with brilliant splendor. The Lingjian sect's senior brother, having lost face, flies into a rage out of humiliation and attacks you, but is subdued by you in a single move, shocking everyone. From beginning to end, you didn't know his name and couldn't be bothered to know it, as the two of you aren't even in the same league. The Lingjian sect elder personally apologizes to you and guarantees that no one in the Lingjian sect will make things difficult again.
Immediately after, my body size rapidly ballooned several times over. My scales became thick and hard, gleaming with a cold light.
They firmly believe that you will unexpectedly be a dark horse in the martial arts tournament and will achieve outstanding results in the martial arts competition. By then, who knows how many kings, nobles are practically throwing themselves at you. Wang Bailu noticed this too. Her fiancé was a little too outstanding. Would he give her a letter of divorce once he became famous? So, on the eve of the martial arts tournament,
you'll definitely skyrocket in the future.
Right up until the tournament began, Wang Bailu finally gave you some free time. You felt like your dark horse run was about to end. You'd already been drained into a skinny horse. But fortunately, although it was a bit tiring,
looking at Sumair in disbelief,
wondering on the edge of life and death, your combat experience was not something these fledglings could match. Along the way, you became a dark horse in the tournament.
However, under the massive difference in size, her little bit of anger in my eyes.
Your Lingjian Academy really picked up a good seedling.
Not only was it not intimidating, it was actually a bit cute. I couldn't help but smile. This Empress is quite interesting.
A 19-year-old at the 6th layer of the giant spirit realm, and not just that.
Too lazy to continue this staring contest with this sooner female snake, I lay back down and continued to rest.
Nangong Meng of the Sky Blue sect.
Sumair became smug.
Sky Blue sect's elder Li, proudest disciple. He was merely at the 6th layer of the giant spirit realm, but relying on a fearless and forging ahead martial spirit.
After a long while, I slowly slithered out of the cave. Once outside the cave, I intentionally slowed down.
Outsiders nicknamed you the martial arts madman. Right now, as the dark horse of the Tianfeng kingdom, you are lying in bed. You feel like your body is about to fall apart. Every inch of skin feels like it's being sliced by a knife. Familiar faces from Lingjian Academy were all looking at you nervously. Wang Bailu held your hand tightly, little pearls constantly dropping from her eyes, wetting the bed. You insincerely comforted everyone, saying you were fine. I'm awake now. Seeing your pale face, they absolutely did not believe you. You had to change the subject. My battle with Nangong Meng of the Sky Blue sect, who won in the end. Mentioning this, everyone started talking endlessly. Of course you won, junior brother A pretty senior sister looked at you, her eyes shining. You felt something smooth and tender on your hand. Cool, yet slightly warm. It turned out to be Wang Bailu, pressing her face against your hand. Asserting her dominance, it made you not know whether to laugh or cry.
And turned around, preparing to return to the cave to curl up again.
Right now, your legend is spreading throughout the royal capital. Junior brother Nangong Meng was a top 3 favorite, but she lost to you and missed out on the top 10. A senior brother chimed in, his tone full of admiration for you. Junior brother Jiang's martial spirit is truly admirable. This is what martial arts should look like. forging ahead courageously.
and immediately climbed up to coil around my back. Glad you know what's good for you, I huffed.
Another senior brother praised, entirely won over by you. In reality, you were howling in pain inwardly. Bullshit Marshall's spirit. The reason you fought so hard was entirely because Nang was the disciple Li Qingyu was so proud of. The way Li Qingyu broke the engagement in your past life was still firmly etched in your mind. You couldn't beat Li Qingyu, but couldn't you beat her disciple? You're truly too badass. Nangong Meng is one of the younger generations. Top 10 beauties, Fairy Meng.
The source of the sound.
Li Ming's face was full of worship. He kept calling you badass.
Su Meyer was still marveling at this beast's strength, but I didn't take it seriously at all.
Good buddies share glory and disgrace. You, however, fell into deep thought. A bunch of question marks popped up in your head. Did that actually happen? For a prodigy, to be beaten to tears like that was just too absurd. You, the person involved.
I used the momentum to wrap around its thick arm.
You said slowly.
I roared in my heart.
Nangong Meng is a martial prodigy too. She wouldn't be beaten to tears, would she? Li Ming pledged confidently. The whole town is talking about it right now.
A few minutes later, its heart stopped.
I'm preparing to team up and cause trouble for you. You cursed silently 1,000,000 times over.
Su Meyer looked calm on the outside.
The royal capital's rewards were also quite generous. 3 days of cultivation in the spirit pool, 1 green spirit rune, and a low-grade profound tier weapon. 3 days later, your cultivation progressed further, crossing the 7th layer of the giant spirit realm to reach the 8th layer. Upon leaving the spirit pool, you saw a familiar figure again.
Her imagination ran wild again. What does this loach mean?
If only she didn't have that murderous look in her eyes. You thought to yourself, this isn't good.
Or is this payment? I was speechless. This woman is so dramatic. If she knew I was a dragon, who knows how she'd judge me in her head. I couldn't be bothered to talk nonsense. I just crushed the beast's corpse, tore it into pieces, and made her swallow it.
After all, she wouldn't bicker with a madman.
Obtained skill, blood refining technique. I looked at my bear snake body. What the hell is the use of this? I'm not a vampire. Better save it. Next, to fill up Su Meyer, this bottomless pit, I killed a leopard. 2. Tier 1 cores down the hatch, and the system actually prompted.
She raised her sword and slashed right at you.
I gasped. This is too wasteful. Su Meyer, however, looked smug, standing on my head, acting high and mighty. Not bad. This loach is capable. I reward him by making him my lackey. I laughed out of anger. I'm raising you like a daughter, and you treat me like a servant. Just wait. Once you take human form, I'll deal with you sooner or later. Unconsciously, I slithered near that spirit pool again. Last time, I was beaten and chased away before being ranked.
Her eyes welled up with little pearls.
I must wipe away my previous humiliation. Su Meyer also craved the spiritual energy here.
Heartbroken, she cried for a whole day,
wanting to show that unknown thing who's boss.
clamoring to make the one who bullied Fairy Meng pay the price. Time flows east like water. 3 years passed in the blink of an eye.
Oh no, my scalp went numb. Something felt wrong.
Although many of Nangong Meng's suitors,
At that very moment,
they were all minor nuisances. After all, you were a seated competitor of Lingyin Academy. However, 3 years had passed, and your cultivation was stuck at the 9th layer of the giant spirit realm.
a hideous head covered in iron blue. Scales emerged from the water. Its wheel-sized vertical pupils stared dead at me.
Other than you, had all stepped into the spirit rune realm. Your aptitude was ultimately inferior to theirs. Even Nangong Meng, whom you easily defeated back then, reportedly entered the spirit rune realm a few months ago, and with a blue spirit rune, no less.
Behind me, thick water pillars mixed with ice blocks continuously smashed.
Those with a blue spirit rune could be counted on one hand.
Bang! My back took a hit. That was brutal. A second slower, and I'd be snake soup.
But you remember what you said 3 years ago. It was just casual boasting at the time, feeling appropriate for the moment.
After coming to her senses,
She wouldn't have taken my words seriously, right? You pondered for a moment. You didn't think of this out of nowhere. But because tomorrow, your long relationship with Wang Bai was reaching its culmination, tomorrow was your wedding day. You didn't want any unexpected changes. You turned your head, intending to return to your manor. A bright flash of purple caught your eye. You remained silent, keeping your head down, looking at your toes, and just speeding up your pace. Suddenly, your neck felt cold. An ice blue longsword was placed against your neck. You stiffly raised your head. A flawless face was staring coldly at you. One hand held a sword against your neck. You gave a dry laugh. Nangong Meng didn't speak.
I'll pick on the weaklings first.
You pulled out a red wedding invitation and handed it over. Miss Nang, tomorrow is my wedding day. I invite Miss Nangong to come and watch.
Rumble, rumble. The ground suddenly shook violently. It sounded like a massive army galloping.
Do you still remember what you said back then? Nangong Meng's tone was icy. You obviously knew, but you couldn't admit it now. Miss Nang, what did I say back then? That's worth you obsessing over. I want to challenge you. If you don't accept the challenge, I'll castrate you. Nangong Meng's words were very cold.
His body was like a small mountain.
Feeling that Nangong Meng would actually do such a thing. Since it concerned the life of your brother, you had to take it seriously.
Flashing with the cold light in the sun.
Especially when it comes to brotherhood. You made your move, you got beaten up. Your face was bruised, purple, and blue. Despite her soft, tender little hands, she showed absolutely no mercy when beating someone up. You stood up disheveled. Nangong Meng had long disappeared without a trace, leaving behind a jade bottle where she stood. Beneath the jade bottle were sword marks. Carving two crooked words, "We're even." You stepped forward and opened the jade bottle.
Both sides were in a standoff.
Enduring some physical pain in exchange for a tier 3 pill, it seemed pretty worth it. You muttered to yourself, feeling a bit better. You didn't expect Nangong Meng to be a generous, petty-minded, yet attentive, violent maniac. You bumped into your dad, Zhang Li, right as you got home. He asked with a curious face, "Why do you have so many injuries on you?" You looked up and replied sullenly, "I tripped." Zhang Li didn't buy it. Tripped?
Roared in anger, lowered his head, and charged at me.
You had no choice but to explain helplessly. "I met a senior on the way."
What terrifying brute force.
And gave me a tier 3 pill. Zhang Li was full of suspicion. After you brought out the pill, though he still had many doubts, he tentatively believed you, taking a beating and suffering some flesh wounds, to get a tier 3 pill in return. How come I've never met a senior like that?
Opening my wide maw to bite its neck.
Feeling that the beating you took was very well worth it.
It violently shook its head.
Overnight, your injuries had entirely healed.
I dodged sideways to avoid a fatal blow.
Many people rushed to Baifeng City. There were senior students you met at Lingyan Academy, as well as your teacher, Zhang Shi, and even a vice principal of the academy had come. There were also the young generation from Heavenly Sword Mountain, and Wang Bailu's teachers,
Blood gushed out.
and those who once ranked in the top 10 of the tournament, the prodigies.
The ironclad rhino didn't fare well either. It crashed into the stump pile.
Existences that even he had to look up to.
Its eyes were filled with shock.
The Wang family's old master grinned from ear to ear. He felt this was the wisest decision he had made in his entire life. Your potential didn't stop here, and his Wang family would prosper along with you.
Tightly wrapped around its torso like a steel cable.
It was the perfect time for the wedding night.
I channeled all my power into my tail.
On a distant tall building standing shoulder to shoulder with the moon, there seemed to be a purple figure standing there. You blinked, and the purple figure vanished. It must be an illusion. You figured you had drunk too much and hallucinated.
Go to hell. I frantically tightened my body.
You hesitated no more.
I firmly locked onto its throat.
Another year passed, you successfully stepped into the spirit rune realm. In your past life, you never broke through. You broke through at just 23. The Su family? Your face was very cold. You still held a grudge over the Su family's extermination of your clan. If even a single person from the Su family escaped, you wouldn't be satisfied. But you still had to wait. Acting rashly at the first layer of the spirit rune realm, if you got held up by the Su family's old timer, you'd likely let many of the Su family escape. What you wanted was to leave no living thing in the entire Su family. After breaking into the spirit rune realm, you returned to Lingyan Academy. It caused quite a storm, and you also obtained a massive amount of cultivation resources. This was your goal. Just like that, you went into seclusion again. 2 years later, the Su family's old master celebrated his 140th birthday. Every branch of the Su family returned to celebrate the old master's birthday. For a time, the entire Su family was decorated with lanterns and festoons, but no one noticed that. You were in a corner, glaring sinisterly toward the Su family. You were going to use this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to wipe them out in one fell swoop. Your figure vanished. Soon, faint rumbling sounds came from behind you, came over, one by one, fully armed martial artists. Followed you into the Su family estate. Leading them was a white-haired old man. The Su family compound, displaying the strength of the spirit rune realm, you slaughtered your way in. This also made them snap to their senses. Hastily gathering a large... Why are you attacking my Su family? The one who spoke was a middle-aged man of the Su family. His name was Suchi. He was Suba's youngest son.
A massive surge of feedback demonic power flooded into my body.
By the time the Su family's many martial artists reacted, you had already arrived in front of Suchi. With a single sword strike, you chopped off his head.
It turns out my body is also a bottomless pit. Just as I was feeling depressed, Su Maya next to me suddenly acted strangely,
scaring everyone into retreating continuously. You didn't continue attacking. Attacking these people was a complete waste of energy. Leaving it to the Su family was enough. That's right, you had found the Su family from your past life. You found the head of the Su family, who was also your younger brother from your past life, Su Zhu. After you died in your past life, Su Zhu,
her strength was astonishingly great,
and hid them away.
The storm finally subsided.
You were his biological brother, his only remaining relative since the death of your parents and eldest aunt.
Her body went limp.
And when you investigated and found out, the moment your descendants were adopted by Su Zhu,
my feelings were a complicated mix.
But you were very gratified. Su Zhu was far more suited to be the family head.
But I was just tired right now.
Your goal was an opportunity hidden within the Su family. The rest of the Su family's assets could all be given to Suzu, which could be considered compensation for your past life's family. So as you approached the Su family's inner courtyard, Suzu led a large number of Su family personnel and charged in. Without any explanation, they went straight into slaughter mode. New grudges and old hatreds could only be erased by extermination and death.
And by the looks of it,
On the way, you killed several more descendants of the Su family's direct line. As long as they looked even 30% similar, you killed them and took their heads. If you couldn't carry any more heads, you hung them from your waist. Like an Asura, straight from hell.
suddenly, I realized something was off.
The current head of the Su family, Su Changji,
She had directly broken through to a tier to demonic beast. It seems that core, combined with the stimulation of key deviation.
becoming the current head of the Su family, Su Changji staggered unsteadily. Seeing those familiar severed heads, his mind buzzed with a loud crash, feeling like the whole world was spinning.
Engaged in deep level, intimate contact.
Su Changji roared hoarsely, "I'll kill you." Su Changji charged at you, but you grabbed him by the neck. With a single palm strike, you crippled Su Changji's cultivation. You didn't kill him immediately. Instead, you took him to find the Su family's old-timer, Su Ba. "Sir, exactly what grudge do you have against my Su family?" Su Ba let out a tragic scream of grief. "Where's the Spirit Sea inheritance? Speak."
The aura within me exploded like an erupting volcano. My scales became thicker and heavier, shimmering with a faint golden light.
Your tone was cold. Su Ba wanted to charge up and fight you to the death. Sensing this old-timer's thoughts, you stamped your foot. The full power of your third-layer spirit rune realm cultivation erupted. Su Ba despaired. He was already at an advanced age, and his vitality was on the decline. Even if he fought to the death, he still might not be able to heavily injure you.
The most crucial part is,
Can you swear an oath that if I hand over the Spirit Sea inheritance, you will keep your word? You nodded.
no, no, no.
Once I get the inheritance, leaving the spark of life for your Su family is fine. If I break this promise, may my martial path end here. Having gotten the result he wanted, Su Ba returned to his room and brought out an animal skin. The animal skin had bizarre runes written on it, along with the deciphering and translations the Su family had done over the years. Looking at Su Ba trying so hard, he recalled the time spent battling wits and courage, and even felt a slight urge to let him go. Of course, that was impossible. You accepted the Spirit Sea inheritance, and then, just as Su Ba was about to take hold of Su Chang, you chopped off Su Changji's head with a single sword strike. Su Ba was rendered speechless. His heart twisted like a knife. A familiar yet cold voice echoed in his ears. The Su family, do you still remember them? When you wiped out the Su family back then, did you ever consider the old and the young? Today is simply someone coming to collect a debt. Su Ba's eyes widened. You will die a horrible death.
Her face beneath her tail was burning hot.
You will eventually have your corpse torn apart by 10,000 ghosts. My entire Su family will be watching you on the road to the underworld. With a tragic scream, Su Ba was killed by you.
No, it was me who took the initiative. I don't want to live anymore. The more she thought about it, the angrier she got.
Finally, you just said softly, I will not go to the underworld. Even if you wait on the Yellow Springs Road until the river runs dry, you still won't see me. Leaving, you completely cut ties with the past. You needed to live this life well.
Her voice piercingly cold.
Baifeng City, you looked at your daughter, who was chattering away and clinging to you, the corners of your mouth lifting. You also planned to have a son with Wang Bai and name him Zhang Hao. Since wiping out the Su family,
This was the rhythm of wanting to start a fight.
without resources, your cultivation improved slower and slower. 4 years passed, your cultivation had barely broken through to the 4th layer of the spirit rune realm. It was worth mentioning that the inheritance the Su family obtained had been a quarter deciphered by you. That wasn't a spirit sea realm expert's inheritance at all. It was the inheritance of a profound understanding king. Unfortunately, it was only the first half. If the Su family had been given a few more years, you could have forgotten about getting revenge in this lifetime, relying on the Tangshuan king's inheritance, even if it was just one.
Why does it make even my soul tremble?
What a cautious Su family. What a Su Ba.
Did he really awaken the Dragon Clan bloodline? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. I am the Orthodox Dragon Empress.
After Su Chang's proudest son, Su Sheng, died, the Su family didn't launch a massive investigation or publicize it. Instead, they directly suppressed this heaven-shaking secret. If it weren't for you, a reincarnated person could really make the Su family rise.
Continuing to look at her with that harmless gaze, she was stunned for a long time before recovering.
To secretly decipher the Spirit King's legacy,
It was no longer just pure shame and hatred.
if others find out, you have a profound legacy in your hands.
Curling herself up with her tail. But those eyes still deliberately peeked at me. What kind of monster is this loach anyway?
And softly asks, husband, is something on your mind lately?
Forget it. I won't think about it.
How could Wang Bilu not tell? That you've been acting very strange these past few days. You sigh softly. War has broken out in the south again. The Kanglan Kingdom is attacking the Tianfeng Kingdom and has already conquered several cities in a row. Father and Mother Jang are both very surprised. This boy has finally seen the light today, to actually start caring about national affairs. Wang Bailu laughs softly. Husband, you're tempted by the royal family's resource offer, aren't you? You nod. This time, outstanding military merits are rewarded with noble titles. You want to join the army? Heroes emerge in chaotic times. You want to exchange for cultivation resources, to lead the Zhang family in this lifetime.
Who cares for it?
Wang Bailu says resolutely, if husband wants to do something, then go do it. You are very surprised. Thinking Wang Bailu would stop you, feeling your surprised gaze, Wang Bailu smiles. Did husband really think Bailu would stop you? Don't forget, I, Wang Bailu, also come from the Lingjian sect. I am not husband's burden. I am husband's supportive wife. Husband shouldn't be buried forever in a small place like Baifeng City. Your mind races.
I couldn't be bothered with her inner thoughts, because at the cave entrance, a massive dark silhouette had already appeared.
After you make this decision, you run into quite a few acquaintances, especially Li Ming, whom you haven't seen in a long time. Since your wedding, you haven't seen each other for a full 7 years. I really miss the time we spent back at the Wu Manor. That was my happiest time. We would drink, eat, and be carefree. When tired, we'd visit the brothels.
Snake tongue flicking, eyes I scold.
Li Ming cries out in surprise. Just as he is about to ask you why you did that, he notices Wang Bailu listening closely nearby. Li Ming shudders all over, thinking to himself, that was close. You also sigh in relief. Almost lost my life there. This idiot really blurts out everything.
Moving so fast it only left a blur in the air.
Li Ming forces a laugh and finishes his sentence. You must make a name for yourself this time.
I, however, lazily switched my tail, using it to push her back.
You are very moved.
She froze.
Was probably all spent to buy these 5 pills.
Does he look down on me?
A woman in purple in the distance. Quietly watching this scene, your luck is pretty good. Lin Qingfeng, the commander of the Black Armor Army, has heard of your name? So you skyrocket through the ranks. In just 30 years, you receive countless rewards, and are even made an earl. Late at night, you often wonder if you are a butcher. Only after entering the battlefield do you realize that the skirmishes in the mercenary group in your past life, and your self-proclaimed ruthlessness, are a complete joke on a real battlefield. So your heart becomes even more ruthless. Your meteoric rise, as if using a cheat code, isn't because you're awesome, but because the commander who favors you is awesome. 10 days ago, the Black Armor Army commander was assassinated. His life hangs by a thread. They say he can still be saved, but you understand that old man's character, he's probably already dead. If he still had a breath left, how could he let some eunuch faction give reckless orders here? A 9th level Spirit Sea Realm expert, getting assassinated inside the camp.
And grinned at it.
15 years ago, under the leadership of Black Armor Commander Lin Ch, you defeated the Kanglin Kingdom's troops, making a name for yourself throughout the Tianfeng Kingdom. Commander Lin Ch,
I opened my mouth,
but was stopped by the Imperial Court. They chose to let the tiger return to the mountain.
Dragon breath, the crimson gold flames acted like a torrent.
And the 2 countries were still good allies.
Its protective demonic aura was like paper.
Now, 15 years later, the Kanglin Kingdom has finished recuperating, torn up the treaty, and invaded again. Commander Lin Qingfeng came out of retirement, but was assassinated right after winning a battle. You silently pour out a jug of wine.
She froze.
Thanking him for his mentorship. The next day, military orders arrive. You are transferred to another border. Several comrades seek you out, suggesting, General Jiang, let's rebel.
Only when you eat it can I get the cash back.
And leave without looking back. This isn't rebelling. This is losing your mind. In this world, where martial arts reign supreme, a few spirit pattern realm fighters actually plotting rebellion. The kingdom could just send one Spirit Sea Realm expert and wipe you all out.
I lay there waiting for the system prompt to sound,
almost letting the Kanglin army march right in. Finally, the royal family dispatched the Spirit Shattering Realm experts.
Triggered hundredfold returned.
The Spirit Shattering Realm is above the Spirit Sea Realm. The Tianfeng Kingdom doesn't have many such experts either.
The Vine Dragon Tail Sweep evolved into the complete version.
The war is no longer your concern. You've been sent away to just idle your days.
It felt so good I almost cried out.
However, the stacks of letters on your desk bring a smile to your face. Over the years, Wang Bailu gave you 2 more sons. The eldest named Zhang Hao, the youngest named Zhang Pingyun, and a daughter, Zhang Mingyu. Your eldest son, Zhang Hao, is already married. Your youngest son, Zhang Pingyun, roams the martial world. As a knight, you are very open-minded. You support whatever choices your children make. There are also letters from the Lingyan 5 Axes.
Detected a faint dragon aura nearby.
Friends who once studied with you at the Wu Manor and chose to stay, upon hearing of your demotion, quickly wrote to ask how you were doing. Besides those, there's a letter from Li Ming. The nearly 60-year-old Li Ming got married. He wants you to find time to go back and attend his wedding. Hard to believe it's been 30 years since you parted. Bullshit. This guy must be lying to me. A 60-year-old geezer actually coaxing some young girl. You curse out loud, thinking this Li Ming is truly shameless.
But if I follow this loach,
fiercely penning a paragraph calling him a beast, and saying you're ashamed to associate with him.
Listening to her inner thoughts, I almost laughed out loud. I just flicked my tail, signaling her to climb on.
Make edits, then tear it all up and rewrite it. In the end, the eloquent draft is reduced to one line: live well. My regards are here. You take out the jade slip of the cultivation method that has accompanied you for years. This jade slip contains the Spirit King's method you translated back then. Since joining the army, the translation progress of this method over all these years has only cracked about half of it.
The direction guided by the system became clearer and clearer.
Theoretically, cultivating to the Spirit Sea realm is no problem. You sigh softly and pack up the wedding gift. Having a trusted aide deliver it. This city is a cage. 10 days ago, Commander Lin's confidants plotted a rebellion and were all executed without exception. Who knows how many eyes are watching you?
It must be the ruin of an ancient ancestor.
But if you leave, your fate won't be much better than death. Fucking eunuch faction. You finally had smooth sailing, and suddenly, you're treated like a prisoner. You are very unhappy.
And passing through a fog-shrouded deadwood forest.
You are now nearly 70. You are a peak spirit soul realm expert. 70 years old is nothing. Although big and small injuries mean you won't live to 3. Living to 200 is still no sweat. Just yesterday, the Kanglan Kingdom regrouped and invaded the Tianfeng Kingdom again. You don't know what those people at the top are thinking. It's like a fucking sticky plaster. They haven't rested long, and now they're fighting again. Negotiating peace every single day. My ass, are you the peace dove? What angers you the most? Is the battle report laid in front of you? The Tianfeng Kingdom army is steadily retreating, and massive amounts of territory have fallen to the Kanglan Kingdom. You have no feelings for the Tianfeng Kingdom, but you don't want your friends and family to become slaves to a ruined nation. General, there is something. I don't know if I should say, your confidant says hesitantly.
The stone door remained motionless with no reaction.
Then don't say it. You decisive. I don't want to go on like this. Let's defect to the Kanglan Kingdom. With the general's talents, you will definitely be highly valued there. Lord Jiang, Lord Ji.
She frantically bashed it with her head, whipped it with her tail.
You look at your confidant who mustered his courage, and you say, aren't you afraid walls have ears? What if someone else hears you? Su Yi scratches his head and chuckles foolishly. I know the general is cautious and won't let others get close easily. General, if a man doesn't build up some achievements in this chaotic world and live a vigorous life, isn't it a wasted trip to this human realm?
The small horn on my forehead began to heat up and glow faintly. This was the dragon bloodline in my body acting up.
You calm down, thinking this kid truly is your confidant.
The stone door trembled violently. The restriction runes on it seemed to come alive.
All right, kid, go back and rest first. Your tone is calm, which fills Su Ye's face with joy. The general didn't get angry. Doesn't that mean he agreed? The moment Su Yi turns around,
and then staring blankly at my forehead.
The next moment, he loses consciousness. Expressionlessly looking at the head of your confidant, you think to yourself, you're getting old. To actually worry about whether you can instantly take down a 6th-level spirit pattern cultivator, not wanting to make a scene.
While I couldn't, this stone door must be broken, or I'm a fake dragon.
You've wanted to rebel for a long time, but you can't. You have a wife and children in the Tianfeng Kingdom, parents, and close friends. Once you rebel, everyone close to you will die. With so many people, even if you defect to the Kanglan Kingdom, you couldn't move them all. Let this lifetime pass like this. You'll settle the score properly in the next life. You bury Su Yi. Su Yi understood you too well. You sigh, I told you. Kid, if you shouldn't say it, don't say it. Another 3 months pass, a piece of bad news arrives. The Juanyuan army is completely wiped out. This is an army entirely on par with the Black Armor army. Now, the Kanglan Kingdom's Grand Army drives deep into the territory. Approaching the border pass where you are stationed, are you fucking kidding me? A 1,000,000-man army gone in 3 months. You nearly have a stroke. What a fucking ridiculous move. The most crucial thing is the higher-ups' intention. They say they're mobilizing reinforcements.
If she moved fast, I moved fast. If she moved slow, I moved slow.
There's just one old and frail spirit Sea Realm expert, and besides him, the strongest is you, a 9th-level spirit pattern cultivator.
I snickered inwardly, though it really wasn't my fault.
The Spirit King's method has a secret technique that allows short-term breakthroughs. It just means you won't live long. Originally, with another 20 years, breaking through to the Spirit Sea Realm would be guaranteed, with no need for such extremes. Now, it doesn't matter. It's death either way.
Those snake eyes full of shame and anger, wishing she could bite me to death right then and there. But she eventually held back.
The Kanglan Kingdom sends an army to attack your pass. After holding out for 10 days, the old Spirit Sea Realm city lord is beaten to death. Everyone feels sorrowful, even though that old geezer pocketed funds.
Pressing down so hard it was difficult to breathe. Sumayra's crawling speed got slower and slower.
So everyone wished he was dead. He shouldn't have died now. The defending generals feel their hearts run cold. The city's defense array has lost its core and absolutely cannot stall much longer. However, just as the city is about to be breached,
a massive underground cavern appeared before us,
killing thousands of Kanglan soldiers. a heroic figure walks on air, lifting the dying array core with one hand. You broke through to the spirit sea realm at the critical moment and came out of seclusion. You've never felt so wonderful. It's like opening the door to another world.
A thoroughly crimson plant stood out strikingly.
The Kanglan Kingdom's first wave of attacks is finally repelled. Everyone shows smiles of surviving a catastrophe. Chattering around you, talking about the thrilling battle, when everyone mentions Skinflint Joe fighting to the death to take down an enemy spirit, sea general, and heavily wounding another, you can't help but feel profound respect. This old Skinflint truly died a heroic death. It's a pity not even a scrap of his flesh was left. You and the others have no choice but to take his old belongings and set up a simple cenotaph for Skinflint Joe. You had a very poor impression of Skinflint Joe, and the two of you didn't really get along.
Staring fixedly back at those eyes.
Risking your life to break through to the spirit sea realm. He gave you all the cultivation resources he had and instructed the soldiers that after his death, you would be the sole leader of this city. Though Skinflint Joe was full of flaws, he did one flawless thing before he died.
The entire cavern was quaking, rubble falling rapidly from overhead.
Reinforcements are still 20 days away. You think of your wife and children, and your parents, and your unmet grandsons and granddaughters, my grandkids. This is your conviction. 10 days later, the Kanglan Kingdom sends out a grand army again to attack your city. This time, the dark mass of troops numbers at least 50 or 60,000. Leading them are 3 spirit sea generals. The 3 spirit sea experts tie you down, while the rest of the Kanglan army engages the city's defenders and residents. That day, the sky turns dark and corpses are strewn everywhere. The entire city is dyed bloody red. The endless rain washes out a foul-smelling river of blood. It finally ends with you going all out, killing 1 spirit sea expert and heavily wounding the other 2. You finally manage to hold them off.
Sumaira's face turned deathly pale.
Then pass out completely.
This is the remnant soul of an ancient true dragon.
You wake up 5 days later. There are only 5 days left until reinforcements arrive.
She looked at my back.
Dreaming about life after the war ends. In your heart, you were also dreaming of returning home alive. But as everyone knows, for a wandering soul out in the world, to go home is a very difficult thing. Another 5 days pass, let alone reinforcements. You haven't even seen a message of support. You don't even need to think to know.
Bang! A deep crater was smashed into the ground. Flying rubble struck me, making my whole body ache.
And will launch their final all-out assault before long. You give a tragic laugh, knowing your life in this world is probably coming to an end.
The dragon soul's attacks came one after another.
Gentlemen, are you willing to fight to the death with me? The remaining soldiers look mournfully at their general. General, I want to go home. I haven't been back in 10 years.
Relying on nimble footwork.
And didn't even make a sound when his arm was chopped off. Without making a single sound, is now lowering his head, letting out a beast-like whimper. Your eyes dim, calculating the time. You haven't been back in 20 years either. Although relatives come to visit every year, Brother G.
Just how pure is his bloodline?
Will really send someone to save us. Song Feng stares at your face. You say calmly, they will.
If this continued, I wouldn't last much longer.
If we survive this battle, we'll be famous throughout the Tianfeng Kingdom. Our descendants will have endless glory. Our families will enjoy the best treatment. Song Feng grins. Then I'll trust you, Brother Zhang.
Emitting an alluring golden light.
Please take my body back. I couldn't go home alive, but my body should at least go home when I'm dead, right? This can be considered returning to one's roots. You pour a full bowl of wine, hand it over, and smile. If I Zheng die, please take my body back as well. After all, I haven't been back in 20 years, and I miss home too. Everyone fills their bowls with wine and downs it in one gulp. The next day, 10 Spirit Sea experts arrive with the Grand Army.
I twisted my body with all my might.
Your gaze calm, every soldier behind you is already prepared to die. Neither side speaks, a massive battle completely erupts. Calling it a massive battle is actually just a one-sided slaughter. You are not the chosen one.
And swallowing the dragon origin fruit in one gulp.
Facing the siege of 10 Spirit Sea experts who fight with no honor, even with the help of the city's array. You still quickly succumb, your whole body a bloody pulp. You clearly feel your life force slipping away. The whole city is dead, leaving only you. Now, you are going to die too. You feel your eyelids getting heavier and heavier, your vision getting blurrier and blurrier. You died too fast in your previous life.
Letting out a shrill, agonized shriek.
What it felt like to slowly wait for death, bit by bit.
It carried a pure dragon majesty.
You bastard, you can't die.
My cultivation was also constantly breaking through.
A familiar, purple figure, breaking through the Kanglan army's array. You feel yourself being picked up. Drop after drop of water falls on your body. You could no longer see the person's face clearly. Have the reinforcements finally arrived? You hear the calling voice in your ear fade away. It seems someone is wailing loudly. Finally, you lose consciousness. After waking up, you find yourself in the mysterious space again. What you experienced feels like a dream, but the scenes in your mind tell you.
The killing intent in his eyes gradually dissipating.
Idiot, you mutter softly. To think Nangong Mung, whom you haven't seen for half your life, would actually charge into the enemy army all alone. What the hell is the Tianlan sect doing?
It muttered to itself.
How could they fucking let such an idiot run wild?
I lay on the ground, gasping for air.
You don't know if Nangong Mung managed to break out of the siege. In the end, became famous early and avenged your past life's blood feud. Resolved your inner demons, obtained good fortune, and your cultivation. Broke through the limits of your aptitude.
Sue Meyer was completely dumbfounded, slumped on the ground, staring blankly at me.
Though later ostracized by petty people, exiled to the border to die a heroic death, your story was still left behind in the Tianfeng kingdom. Your only regret is moving too fast in your youth, without carefully observing how others evaluated you. White 9-star fate points, 90. In your last life, 30 fate points achieved such results.
She started to doubt her life.
You thought it over. Aptitude is crucial, so you added 40 points. Comprehension is also key, adding 30 points.
But it no longer held any hostility.
After doing all this, you decisively chose to start your next life. A room is filled with various luxurious items. You look at your soft, pale hands, unsure whether to be happy or sad. In this life, you awakened your memories at age 9.
Pure dragon blood flows in your veins, purer than any dragon I have seen.
Royal bloodline.
I froze for a second. Tens of thousands of years?
Wait, the Tianfeng kingdom hasn't fallen yet. You are shocked.
Who died in battle here? I left behind a remnant soul to guard my inheritance.
Exactly what happened back then? You immediately walk out of the room. A smiling young man approaches you. Ninth brother, where are you going? The young man's name is Feng Zion. Your half-brother? He's the third oldest. Going to the library pavilion to find a weapon art to practice.
I became completely immersed in it, captivated.
Just have the servants fetch it for you. Why go there in person? Feng Zion is a bit confused. Then he brings out a bunch of messy picture books. Chuckling, ninth brother, these are all the good stuff I've collected over the years. What's so good about practicing martial arts? How could it compare to exploring the beautiful truths of life?
Her background is not simple.
I'm still just a 9-year-old kid. And you want me to look at this vulgar trash? But you still play along. Thanks, third brother. I will accept these gifts. After saying that, you quickly stash the vulgar items away. A barely noticeable hint of joy flashes in Feng Zion's eyes. Since you like them, ninth brother, your third brother will find more of these. Pictures about the truth of life for you. You smile and nod. The older and younger brothers seem perfectly harmonious. But once Feng Zion leaves, you smile. I was just wondering why this body only has a level 3 cultivation base. I started cultivating at age 5. By this point, I should be at least level 6 or 7. The fight for succession is truly terrifying. You still go to the library pavilion. Inside the library pavilion, there are not only martial arts manuals recorded by the Marquise's mansion, but also records of events from all over. A white-haired old man sees you arrive alone. Looking somewhat surprised, ninth young master has finally seen the light. He remembers that the ninth young master never really liked coming to places like the library pavilion. What a waste of the ninth young master's talent.
Our familiar cave appeared before us.
That the old man in the library pavilion has actually reached the spirit sea realm. In your past life, it took immense hardship to reach this realm. But considering the importance of the library pavilion,
Several times larger than normal foxes.
cultivating to the spirit gathering realm in just a few months, this kind of cultivation aptitude has only appeared once. In the records of our Tianfeng kingdom, the Marquis of Jinghai shows a delighted smile. Thank you. Have a small body and wide, watery eyes, looking incredibly adorable. The more the Marquis of Jinghai looks at you, the more he likes you. But Grandpa who is the #1 genius recorded in the Tianfeng kingdom? The Marquis of Jinghai chuckles. It's a myth. Legend has it that the founding of our Tianfeng kingdom,
She shot me a glare over her shoulder.
our founding emperor was good friends with that mythical man, who helped him overthrow the previous dynasty and establish the Tianfeng kingdom. Even the founding emperor once said,
Crimson Flame foxes didn't give us time to chat.
he said seeing that man was like a pondfish. Seeing the vast sky, your eyes flash, the founding emperor of a nation is undoubtedly a legend. Yet he humbled himself so much. Is that great man still cultivating in our Tianfeng kingdom? You ask curiously. The Marquis of Jinghai shakes his head. Since that myth helped the emperor establish the Tianfeng kingdom, he left alone for a broader world and hasn't been heard from since. You blink, feeling thrilled inside. Such a huge boss actually isn't in the Tianfeng kingdom. God is helping me. But on the outside, you pout. Looking very disappointed, the Marquis of Jinghai laughs. You little rascal, are you thinking of targeting that myth? Do you think my cultivation isn't high enough to teach you?
Watching her fight so desperately.
Grandpa Jinghai and Chinner S. Heart, you are the strongest in the Tianfeng kingdom. You are the pillar of our Tianfeng kingdom. The greatest person, and our royal family's greatest warrior. The Marquis of Jinghai smiles so widely his lips reach his ears. You little smooth. I'm not as great as you make me out to be.
I lazily raised my head.
Then who exactly was that mythical man who helped the founding emperor establish the kingdom? The Marquis of Jinghai, in a great mood, decides to share this secret history. That mythical man, his name was Li, a true myth. He was the God-given prodigy of the Li family. In the blink of an eye, 5 years pass. Under the Marquis of Jinghai's tutelage, your cultivation skyrockets. You quickly reach level 1 of the Spirit Soul Realm. Reaching level 1 of the Spirit Soul Realm at 14 would scare people to death. That year, the Marquis of Jinghai thinks it over and sends you straight to the Tianfeng Martial Academy to train. Now, in the Marquis of Jinghai's lineage, you are unquestionably the young master. Sometimes, you could even drop the word young. You can directly mobilize all the forces, overt and covert, of the Marquis's mansion. Your trash father, in this life, is merely a figurehead. In the Marquis's eyes, you are the true heir. Arriving at the royal capital once again, we're filled with emotion. In this life, your status and talent are at the absolute peak of the Tianfeng kingdom. If you could, just slow down and carefully walk the path of this life. It could be a perfect life. Unfortunately, when you close your eyes,
I took a deep breath. The dragon blood in my body boiled.
the steward stands outside the carriage.
An afterimage tore through the air, and ruthlessly lashed the crimson flame fox attacking her. With a loud bang, that crimson flame fox flew out like a broken sack.
That's the Tianfeng kingdom's #1 genius. From that day on, you study at the Tianfeng Martial Academy.
Before breathing its last,
Its foundation is its founder, like the Marquis of Jing,
only to have its neck snapped with a single bite when she reacted.
everyone qualified to study here, without exception.
All 3 crimson flame foxes were dead. Sumire slumped on the ground, panting heavily.
Little Marquise, young Master Feng Hongju, has sent an invitation.
Burn marks and claw gashes everywhere. Her scales completely dim and lackluster.
An well-educated woman stands by your side, asking respectfully,
Finding it both annoying and amusing, and turned to slither toward a nearby bush.
he is a genius from the main royal branch who broke through to level 1 of the Spirit Soul Realm at just 17.
Their healing properties are excellent. I slithered back to her side.
The woman doesn't say much either. She is a maid assigned by the Marquis of Jinghai to serve you. Having been with you for 3 years, she understands your character as the little Marquise. You probably actually have an interest in this banquet. After she leaves, you play with the invitation and sigh softly. Your grandfather, the Marquis of Jinghai, truly cares for you. He actually assigned several Spirit Sea Realm experts to guard you day and night. Though he means well, it makes it impossible for you to slip away, to visit the old places from your past life.
But when he gets serious,
You won't be able to retrieve it anytime soon. You put down the invitation and head to Feng Honggu's banquet.
I carefully applied herbs to every wound.
But to take this opportunity to see if the absolute top younger generation of the Tianfeng kingdom has anyone who poses a threat to you, or anyone you can recruit for your grand plan, and casually check for any descendants of old acquaintances. 5 days later, in a luxurious mansion, many young people gather. Any single one of these youths would cause a sensation anywhere else. Their fathers carry the most noble bloodlines. The little Marquis of Jinghai has arrived. Following the servant's loud announcement, everyone instinctively looks in the same direction, with a look of indifference exuding a noble aura. You slowly enter the hall. Scanning the room, you actually spot a few descendants of your enemies. You calmly take the seat of honor. Feng Hongyu looks overjoyed at your arrival. Cousin, royal father talks about you every day, describing you as an immortal amongst men. Seeing you today, you truly live up to the rumors. No wonder royal father keeps you in his thoughts. Feng Hongyu is the 43rd son of the current Tianfeng king, greatly favored by the king. He still addresses you as his cousin, clearly trying to get closer to you. You raise your eyes, saying calmly, "Thank you, your majesty and your highness, for your favor." Despite the words of thanks, your face shows zero emotion. It is as cold as a block of ice, but Feng Hongyu doesn't mind at all. Geniuses always have some arrogance, not to mention a genius who even the old folks of the main branch praise endlessly. He has enough confidence that he can win you over. The banquet is filled with toasts and chatter,
I couldn't be bothered with her inner thoughts.
signs of the Tianfeng kingdom's noble families,
The forest grew denser, and we encountered more and more beasts.
the enemy you constantly dream of killing. The son of the Zhuanwu army's commander, the renowned Zhuanwu Marquis of the Tianfeng kingdom, you lower your head, your eyes already filled with killing intent,
I raised my head to look.
yet somehow managed to have a son at the very end. You wonder
We're surrounding a petite figure.
if he made it, his most precious son die right in front of him. How would he react? But now is not the time. With your noble status in this life and the immense amount of fate points you spent, dying together with you, Gendi's descendant, would be too much of a waste after the banquet ends. You act as if nothing happened at all. 3 years pass in a flash. Your cultivation reaches level 7 of the Spirit Soul Realm. You are 16 this year. and have met numerous geniuses of the Tianfeng kingdom, as well as its nobles. Anyone with a brain can see your future is absolutely boundless. This makes your brothers and your useless, deadbeat father incredibly jealous. As long as you remain in the Marquise's mansion, they will never have a chance to shine. Brother Feng,
tears welling in her eyes.
Even at a young age, she possesses world-toppling beauty. Princess hailed as the #1 beauty of the Tianfeng kingdom's current generation. She is the king's most favored daughter, and your fiancé in this life. Besides Feng Huaiyan, your grandfather, the Marquis, also gathered many noble daughters for you, wanting you to spread your lineage. Oh, it's one. You hide the hatred in your eyes, raise your gaze, and say, calmly. Feng Huaiyan quickly pulls out a pile of items. There are pills, manuals, and spirit weapons. Brother Feng, you are joining the martial arts grand competition tomorrow. These things will definitely be useful to you. Feng Huaiyan pushes a huge pile of items in front of you, her big watery eyes curving into crescent moons, playful and lively. If outsiders saw Princess Huayun, the #1 beauty of the Tianfeng kingdom,
in her large, watery eyes,
many young talents would surely be heartbroken.
She suddenly lunged and hugged my neck.
A hint of shock appears on your face.
Benefactor, you're amazing.
Include many priceless treasures. Even the pills are all grade 4. She probably emptied half the royal treasury for this. You push the items back, stating plainly, even without these things, I am still the Tianfeng kingdom's #1 genius. If you sneak this many things out of the royal palace, and your royal father finds out—
Wait, when did this loach become my loyal servant?
Feng Huaiyan shakes her head repeatedly. Royal father dotes on me so much. He definitely won't punish me. Feng Huaiyan pushes the items back, her cheeks puffed out, looking exactly like a well-behaved kitten. Brother Feng, these are all gifts from Huaiyan.
And hid behind me.
Left with no choice, you accept the items. Seeing this, Feng Huaiyan is overjoyed. You, however, feel a faint sense of guilt. Scheming against a little girl like this, if she ever learns the truth, she will probably despise me. The smile on Feng Huaiyan's face never fades. Like a bright The Tianfeng Kingdom's martial arts grand competition arrives, gathering geniuses from all sects. It's held as a tournament with the most geniuses in the past century. Unfortunately, a monster appeared in this tournament. Even for a genius, a cultivation base at level 3 of the Spirit Soul Realm is useless against you. The gap between level 3 and level 7 of the Spirit Soul Realm is simply too vast. You don't even move your body.
Shaoli is very well behaved.
You head to the spirit pool to cultivate.
Sumair sneered inwardly. Interesting things, probably indecent things.
The cultivation path in this life is smooth sailing.
Her gaze like daggers.
Reaching level 9 of the Spirit Soul Realm. Only then do you graduate from the Tianfeng Martial Academy, becoming the Tianfeng Martial Academies,
and warmly greeted her.
After leaving the Tianfeng Martial Academy, you don't return directly to the Marquise's mansion, but head to the Tianlan sect. Instead, your excuse is to exchange martial arts knowledge. And so, bringing along your maids, guards, and steward, you travel grandly to the Tianlan sect. Half a month later, inside the Tianlan sect, may I ask what brings the little Marquis to our Tianlan sect? The sect master looks cautiously at the young man before him. You say calmly, I want to cultivate at the Tianlan sect for half a year. This is my sincerity. Please grant my request. Sect Master Young. You take out a jade box and hand it to the sect master. The sect master opens the box slightly, and his expression changes drastically. He snaps it shut instantly, smiling brightly. It is absolutely fine. However, the sect master looks slightly troubled. Falling into hesitation, you smile softly. Rest assured, Senior Yang, I won't covet your sect's core techniques, nor will I enter the forbidden grounds. Hearing this, the sect master beams with joy once again, and agrees to your request. Inside the Tianlan sect, your so-called exchanging martial arts is just pure nonsense. All you wanted was to see an old friend. A month later, your guards finally let their guard down at your request. They let you explore the sect freely, and you find where your old friend is staying. Seeing Li Qingyu again at the bamboo peak, you see she has aged considerably. You still remember her arrogance when she came to break off the engagement in your first life, but now you just see a lonely old woman spending her days accompanied by the bamboo forest. So almost 200 years have already passed. Even you can barely remember the events of your past life clearly. Little Marquise, you seem to know me. Li Qingyu is very confused. Why is this young man looking at her with a gaze of faint familiarity, like he's looking at a long-lost friend? You nod and say, although I have never met you, Senior Li, I have often heard of your deeds. Li Qingyu laughs What deeds could I possibly have? They're probably just some old tales, fabricated by others for their amusement. You stay silent for a moment. It is indeed exactly as she said. Her past annulment of the engagement was long ago fabricated into a storybook, which became quite a bestseller. Unfortunately, the protagonist never became world famous. Like in those storybooks, you aren't Xiao Yan, and Li Qingyu isn't nailing Yanran either. You seem a bit curious, asking, Senior Li, why'd you go annul the marriage back then? A hint of surprise flashes in Li Qingju's eyes. She didn't expect this noble little marquise to be so interested in gossip. She sighs softly. If she were younger, she definitely wouldn't want to bring this up, but now she's old, and after her last battle, she doesn't have much lifespan left. The memories that had once blurred in her mind have become increasingly clear lately. Maybe having a listener wouldn't be so bad. Li Qingyu smiles. Since the little marquise is so interested in my story, then I'll tell you about these old matters. She pours 2 cups of tea and places them between you. You listen quietly. All of this tragedy stems from my naive thoughts when I was young. The fiancé was just the son of the patriarch of a small family, while I was chosen by my master, poised to reach higher realms of cultivation. Back then, I was young and arrogant, believing the world was filled with countless heroes. I, Li, could not just stay in a small family, raising children and serving a husband. Though I am a woman, I also had the ambition to compete with the heroes of this world. As if recalling her youth, a smile appears on Li Qingyu's face. She never regretted joining the Tianlan sect, nor did she regret breaking off the engagement. You remained silent. In your first life, you indeed were not worthy of Li Qingyu. Your families were just old friends, and your relationship with Li Qingyu was decent. But only just decent. It wasn't a case of one-sided devotion. It's just that later, you became obsessed with the annulment trope script. Then you ask, Senior Li, is that the only reason you broke off the engagement? Facing your question, Li Qingyu stays silent for a moment. She says hoarsely, yes and no. Even if he were my husband, I, Li Qingyu, would have accepted him, but he couldn't be my fiancé. Since childhood, my parents and clan members told me that I had to marry into his family, to marry him, but I've always hated having my fate controlled by others. You were stunned, not expecting that Li Qingyu breaking off the engagement. It was actually for this reason. Li Qingyu saw your surprise and smiled. You're surprised too, little marquise, right? Rumors in those storybooks say, I am someone who abandoned her fiancé for her future. And I did exactly that. If you think so, little marquise, that's fine too. You nodded earnestly. In your first life, you thought the same? You continued, Senior Li, you remained unmarried. Have you ever regretted breaking off the engagement? This time, it was Li Qingyu's turn to be stunned. She seemed to see a blurred figure from her memory, sitting across from her, asking her this very question. After a long while, Li Qingyu snapped back to reality. Before her was an unfamiliar face, not the one from her memory. Regret? Maybe. Sometimes I do wonder, if I hadn't broken off the engagement, would I have had a different life? The path of cultivation is too lonely. I've met many geniuses, but I never had that same feeling again. If I hadn't broken off the engagement, would he have avoided being killed by his enemies and his whole family wiped out? Li Qingyu's ambitions in life surpassed many men. She fought her way out of a small place and eventually became an elder of the Azure Sky sect. Did she regret it? Maybe she's just old and has nothing left to long for, watching her loved ones pass away one by one, and started to miss those times. But back then, she never regretted any decision she made. You felt a mix of emotions. You had thought countless times about what it would be like to meet Li Qingyu again, but never imagined a scene like this. Seeing as you're old and pitiful, I'll let you go. You muttered in your heart about the past. It was too late to tell right from wrong. You only knew there would be one less old friend in the future. Little Marquise, any other questions? Li Qingyu slowly finished her tea. You stood up and said, thank you, Senior Li, for your answers. It has changed my impression of you. Li Qingyu smiled. People's impressions are just the world's impressions. I only want to be myself. Why should I care about the world? You didn't reply, but just got up to take your leave, leaving behind one sentence as a token of gratitude. I swear in the name of the Jinghai Marquis estate, I will definitely bring back Nungong Meng's body for you, Senior. Back at the Azure Sky sect, Li Qingyu's eyes widened, and then she smiled. She didn't say thank you, but just called out in the direction you left. Little Marquise, you turned back to look at Li Qingyu. The two of you exchanged a glance. Li Qingyu thought of that boy from many years ago. Their eyes seemed exactly the same. Li Qingyu thought of many things to say, but they eventually turned into one sentence. Please take care, little Marquise. You smiled and said, Senior Li, you in the bamboo forest. Only Li Qingyu was left in the end. She walked alone deep into the bamboo forest. There was tombstone after tombstone here, recording old friends. There was her only disciple, Nungong Meng, her mentor, her parents and relatives, and the tomb of a fiancé named Suj. Li Qingyu sat before the tomb, murmuring, you said 30 years on the east bank, 30 years on the west bank. But now 200 years have passed, and you never came to the Azure Sky sect. On the other hand, you came this time to settle the grudges of your first life, and to give this old friend a final send-off. Li Qingyu was dying. 20 years ago, after your past self and Nangong Meng died in battle, Li Qingyu charged the enemy lines alone. She wanted to retrieve Nangong Meng's body, but was heavily surrounded. In the end, Yu Zhengdi arrived in time with his army, which allowed Li Qingyu to escape with her life. But that day, she also suffered irreversible injuries. You sighed. Old friends were withering away one by one. like fallen leaves in the wind. The grudges of youth were no longer important. The traces of your first life's existence were eventually erased by time. 7 days later, news of Li Qingyu's death spread. After a brief moment of mourning at the Azure Sky sect, no one mentioned Li Qingyu ever again. You felt relieved. The unyielding bottleneck of the spirit sea realm showed signs of breaking. You simply decided to stay at the Azure Sky sect. This stay lasted longer than the expected half year, lasting a full year. You were 18 this year. The youngest spirit sea realm martial artist in the Tianfeng kingdom was born in your previous life to reach this step. It took you 70 years to break through to the spirit sea realm. From now on, you'd have to figure out your own path. Fortunately, in this life, you still had one of the Tianfeng kingdom's top 10 experts to Jin Marquis' ancestor, so you didn't need to be like in previous lives, struggling all alone to figure things out. You left the Azure Sky sect to return to the Jinghai Marquis' estate. However, an incident occurred on the way. You were ambushed. A total of 15 Spirit Sea Realm experts were deployed. How bold. Who are you? How dare you target the little Marquis? Aren't you afraid of the Jinghai Marquis' wrath implicating your families? The butler shielded you behind him. A group of Spirit Sea Realm guards stood in front to protect you, warily watching the men in black surrounding you. They had 15 Spirit Sea Realm experts, while your side, even including you, only had 8. The strength difference was almost double. Since we dared to come assassinate the little Marquis, we naturally aren't afraid. One of the men in black, seemingly in control, mocked. Instantly, all the men in black attacked. The butler held off for Spirit Sea Realm experts and yelled at you. Little Marquis, run. I'll hold them off for you. You didn't hesitate. You immediately unleashed your Spirit Sea Realm aura, killed the man in black, and flew towards the Jinghai Marquis estate without looking back. Damn it, how did he break through to the Spirit Sea Realm so fast? One of the men in black shouted in a flash. Your guards and butler risked their lives to hold off the men in black, who doubled their numbers. Hold them off. Please forgive Feng Ding. I can no longer serve you. You must survive. An earth-shattering boom shook the area like an earth dragon rolling over. You noticed the commotion and knew in your heart that the butler had used his life to buy you time. Seizing the moment, you didn't stop and desperately rushed towards the Jinghai Marquis estate. If you died like this in this life, you'd cough up blood in frustration. In the apocalyptic scene in the distance, 3 people scrambled out miserably. Of the 15 Spirit Sea Realm experts who attacked you, only 3 were left. Ignoring their injuries, the 3 pushed their bodies to the absolute limit and chased in the direction you fled. You were hunted all the way, and finally, after 4 days and nights of evasion, you escaped back to the Jinghai Marquis estate. Grandpa, save me. You shouted towards the Jinghai Marquis estate. In an instant, from within the Jinghai Marquis estate, several terrifying gazes swept over. Without exception, all were Spirit Soul Realm experts. You were secretly shocked. The foundations of the Jinghai Marquis estate were truly terrifying. At this moment, a heaven-shaking roar rang out. How bold. You dare attack my killing grandson. I will search high and low across the entire Tianfeng kingdom to make you scoundrels pay. A massive Spirit Soul avatar manifested its hand, covering the sky. Seeing this, the 3 relentless pursuers behind you were filled with despair. It's over. Almost instantly, their eyes turned resolute, and they circulated their inner essence, choosing to self-destruct. The Jinghai Marquis' face looked extremely grim. At this point, you couldn't hold on any longer. Your essence exhausted. You fainted and fell from the sky. Fortunately, the Jinghai Marquis quickly caught you. No matter who wants to harm you, Grandpa, we'll definitely seek justice for you. The Jinghai Marquis' eyes were cold. If he hadn't arrived in time, this descendant he had such high hopes for might have died right in front of him. Half a month later, you finally woke from your coma. It seemed you had been too flashy in this life, making many factions wary, afraid that an expert would emerge who was even more terrifying than the great ancestor of the Tianfeng kingdom. You could only think of this one possibility, but you didn't know which factions wanted you dead. But none of that mattered anymore. Now the people who hunted you were all dead. You suddenly thought of a possibility, and your expression gradually turned into pleasant surprise. You were just wondering how to get the Jinghai Marquis to join your grand revenge plan, and wasn't this the perfect opportunity? You're awake. A caring voice came from outside the door. To prevent anyone in the Jinghai Marquis' estate from harming you while you slept, he had stayed by your side the whole time. You got up and bowed, saying, "Thank you for saving my life, Grandpa. If you hadn't arrived in time, Grandpa, your grandson would likely be dead." Hearing this, a trace of hatred flashed in the Jinghai Marquis' eyes. Along with relief, rest assured, with me here, you are absolutely safe in the Jinghai Marquis estate. The forces behind those who hunted you, I am already investigating. No matter who they are, I will make them pay. You asked, "Grandpa, are there any clues?" Now, the Jinghai Marquis looked gloomy. He shook his head. "No matter how I investigate, all clues have been invisibly erased by a giant hand. However, on one of them, I found a spy token from the Kanglin kingdom." You cursed inwardly. Damn it, the Kanglan Kingdom again. There were experts from the Kanglan Kingdom among your pursuers. You weren't surprised by this. After all, the Kanglan Kingdom and the Tianfeng Kingdom were mortal enemies, but the ones hunting you were definitely not just from the Kanglan Kingdom. You adjusted your mindset and spoke. Grandpa, have you ever suspected a possibility? Someone deliberately guided the clues to the Kanglan Kingdom. The Jinghai Marcus's eyes flickered, and he said lightly, continue. He continued, Grandpa, if I were to grow up, who would I threaten the most? The Jinghai Marquis stared at you, and you stared right back, without any fear. After a long silence, the Jinghai Marquis finally spoke. You should know. This matter is of grave importance. For our Jinghai Marquis estate, some things could bring absolute disaster, even if it's just wild speculation. You said calmly, your grandson naturally knows, but Grandpa Feng Ding, who protected me, died just like that. He was also family to me.